After evolution of different types of cells, coming to the next one, cell biology. Within that cell biology, some of the important definitions are there. Very first one is protoplast. See, before do this one, we are already well known about cell. In the first class, we have already discussed what is cell. Cell is the structure and function of the life. Cell is the basic unit of the life, right? After that, protoplast. What is protoplast? Cell without cell wall is called as protoplast. Cell without cell wall is called as protoplast. For suppose this is on the plant cell. Why I taken here plant cell is the example? Because plant cells are having cell wall. Animal cells are not having cell wall. Cell without cell wall is called as protoplast. See, this is the plant cell. Within that plant cell, if we remove that cell wall, the red color indicates here cell wall. If we remove the cell wall, the remaining part is called as protoplast. The remaining part is called as protoplast. Yeah. This is the protoplast. And next one is, what is protoplasm? What is protoplasm? Cell without cell wall and cell membrane. We already removed the cell wall. And next one, plasma membrane. Inside the cell wall, there is a plasma membrane is present. This is also called cell membrane. This is also called cell membrane. If we remove the cell wall and the cell membrane, the remaining part is called as protoplast. The remaining part is called as protoplasm. Cell without cell wall and cell membrane. Both these are absent. That part is called as protoplasm. And next one, cytoplasm. Cell without cell wall, cell membrane, nucleus. See, we already removed the cell wall and the plasma membrane or cell membrane, and at the center of the cell, nucleus is present. If we remove the nucleus, that remaining part is called as cytoplasm. Within that cytoplasm, cell organelles are present, except here, nucleus. We already removed the nucleus. So, cell without cell wall, cell membrane, nucleus. That part is called as cytoplasm. And last one is cytosol. What is cytosol? Whatever the water content is present inside the cytoplasm, or cytoplasm contain water molecules are called as cytosol. Cytoplasm contain water molecules are called as cytosol. So that is about the cytosol. So I like to say here one important point. Animal cells are naturally not having the cell walls. Cell wall is absent in animal cells. So protoplasm, all animal cells are protoplasts. All animal cells are protoplasts because animal cells are not having cell wall, right? That is about some definitions which are related to the cell biology. Coming to the history of the cell biology. See, before going to the history, we need to know about any research process. Any research needs powerful equipment. Here, cell biology also needs the very good equipment. See, cell biology means study about cells. Bacteria cell we are unable to identify it by our naked vision. Right? Plant cell or animal cell, any cell we are unable to identify it by our naked vision. But here, studying about the cell biology, first of all, the very first equipment for cell biology is the microscope. Who first invented microscope? Zacharias Johnson is the scientist. He first invented compound microscope. He did research on telescope also, but that is a different story. See here, the first microscope invented by Zacharias Johnson. And coming to the next one, Robert Hooke. We already discussed about the Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke is the scientist. He first observed cells and he named the cells. He coined the term cell and he prepared one of the cork slide. What is cork slide? We already discussed. One plant tissue, one plant is there. Outermost part is the cork. That cork cells are collected and that was sliced. That is called as cork slide. That cork slide observed under the microscope. right? That is about the research of Robert Hooke. And observe the dead cell. First observed cells are dead cells. First cells observed by Robert Hooke. First observed cells are dead cells. And he is also called father of cytology. Cytology is nothing but cell biology here. Cytology is nothing but here cell biology. Who is father of cell biology? Robert Hooke. Father of cytology? Robert Hooke. Right? He published one of the book. He wrote one of the book. The book name is the Micrographia. The book name is the Micrographia. Micro indicates here very minute particles we are unable to identify by naked vision. So that's the reason why cells are we are unable to identify by naked vision. So he wrote or he published one of the book. Name of the book is the Micrographia, right? And Anton van Leeuwenhoek is also one of the best scientists who first observed the living cell. Who first observed the cell? Robert Hooke. Who first observed the living cell? The living cell first observed by Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Hooke have his special microscope that is also called Hooke microscope, right? He first observed the living cell. The first observed living cell was bacteria. The first observed living cell was bacteria. That is about some of the scientists. After discussing about some of the scientists, the next important concept is theories. Within cell biology, some theories are there. These theories are very important. The very first theory is called as cell theory. Cell theory was proposed by Schleiden and Swan. Both the scientists are collaborated for their work, and both the scientists combinedly proposes one theory. That theory is called as cell theory. Within that cell theory, Schleiden is the botanist. He did the research on plants, and Swan is a zoologist. He did the research on animals. So, Schleiden and Swan, both the scientists are combinedly proposes one theory. That theory is called as cell theory. What is cell theory? According to the cell theory, all organisms are made up of with cells. All organisms are made up of with cells. All organisms are made up of with the cells. Any organism, either prokaryotic cell, either eukaryotic cell, any cell, either prokaryotic cell, either eukaryotic cell, either unicellular organism, either multicellular organism, any organism is made up of with the cells. And cell is the basic unit of the life. Cell is the basic unit of the life. That is nothing but cell is the structural and functional unit of the life. Cell is the structural and functional unit of the life. See, cell maintains the structure. Cell maintains the function. And all living organisms or all cells are formed from pre-existing cells. All cells are formed from pre-existing cells. We just discussed about the evolution process. The very first cell is the RNA containing cell. After that, the stable organisms are the prokaryotic cells. From prokaryotic cells, all organisms was evolved. From prokaryotic cells, all organisms was evolved. We are the best example. See, human being, we are saying advanced organism. All we are evolved from prokaryotic cells. All we are evolved from prokaryotic cells. In middle, there are so many number of connecting organisms are there. So, all living cells are formed from pre-existing cells. Right. And coming to the next one, modern cell theory. After this theory, and two more points are added. See, these 3 points are common in modern cell theory, but 2 more points are added to the cell theory. That is called as modern cell theory. That is called as modern cell theory. Modern cell theory was proposed by Rudolf Virchow. Modern cell theory proposed by Rudolf Virchow. See, he given one statement: omnis cellulae e cellulae. Omnis cellulae e cellulae. So, according to that statement, all cells are coming from pre-existing cells. All cells are coming from pre-existing cells. That is the statement given by the Rudolf Virchow. Genetic material passed from one cell to another cell. Genetic material passed from one cell to another cell by cell division. What is cell division? For suppose one of the bacteria reproduction done by cell division, that is binary fission. right? And there is a mitosis process there in eukaryotic cells, plant cells. The height of the plant increases by the cell division, mitosis process. In reproduction process, in plants or in animals, especially in sexual reproduction process, meiosis. Meiosis is also one kind of cell division process. So cell division is very important. Either asexual reproduction process, cell division is very important for the sharing of genetic material. So here one cell contains genetic material passing from one generation to the another generation. Most of the students are, best example, most of the students are having characters are mostly father or mother. In certain cases, grandmother or grandfather, because the genes are passing from one generation to another generation. Right? That is about the first point. And energy flow occurs inside the cell. That is nothing but any living cell, energy production takes place inside the cell. Last class we have discussed about one of the metabolism. Metabolism is the combination of anabolism and the catabolism. Anabolism is nothing but synthesis process. Photosynthesis is the anabolism. Inside our body, proteins are synthesized. It's an anabolism. Catabolism, degradation process. We are eating food, carbohydrates, break down into the starch, break down into the glucose finally break down into the carbon dioxide and water. See, that is catabolism process. What is the use of catabolism? Catabolism majorly involved in production of energy. How cells are getting energy? All we know the statement, powerhouse of the cell is the mitochondria. Inside the mitochondria, ATP production takes place. ATP is the cell currency. So in any cell, ATP production takes place. Any cell, the ATP production takes place. Right? That is about modern cell theory. See, given the statement, omni cellulae e cellular. Right? That is the statement given by the Rudolf Virchow. And sarcode. What is sarcode? Cell contains gelatinous fluid. Whatever that gelatinous fluid is present, that fluid initially called as sarcode. Initially not given protoplasm or protoplast. See, whatever that cell contains gelatinous or liquid fluid is present, that is called as sarcode. Sarcode, the word coined by Desjardins. Sarcode, the word coined by the Desjardins, scientist name. And later, okay, that gelatinous fluid called as protoplast. The gelatinous fluid called as protoplast. Sorry, not protoplast, protoplasm. Not protoplast. Protoplasm. The gelatinous fluid is called as protoplasm. Protoplasm, the term given or coined by the Purkinje. The scientist name is the Purkinje. Protoplasm, the word coined by the Purkinje. The scientist name is Purkinje. Coming to the next topic is different shapes of the cells. See, all cells are not having same shape. One cell shape is altered with another cell shape. Why cell shapes are altered? Depends upon the function. The shapes of the cells also altered. See, first case is the cube shaped cells. Cells are having cube shape. And some of the cells are having columnar shape. See, here cube shaped cells example is the cuboidal epithelial cells. Whatever that epithelium tissue is present inside our digestive tract, okay, there is a digestive tract is there. Inside our digestive tract, there is a cube shaped cells are present within the epithelium. That is called as cuboidal epithelium. And there is in column shaped cells are there. The cells are called as columnar epithelial cells. And goblet cells. See, these three kinds of cells are mostly seen in human digestive tract. Not only human digestive tract, different organisms digestive tracts, mostly advanced organisms digestive tract contains that cuboidal epithelial cells, columnar epithelial cells and the goblet cells. So that is about the first three types of the cells. Here red color indicates here nucleus. And some of the cells are round shape or oval shape. Some cells are having round shape or oval shape. Here the best example is mesophyll cells. Mesophyll cells are the best example. Whatever that plant contains, that leaves are there, the leaves contains mesophyll cells are there. The mesophyll cells, some of the mesophyll cells are having round shape and some are having oval shape, right? See, not only the mesophyll cells, whatever the cortex contains cells are there, the cells also having round shape or the oval shape. That is about the round shape or oval shaped cells. And next one is the spindle shape. Generally, some cells are having spindle shape. Ends are tapered. At the center part is bulged. At center part is swollen or bulged. This kind of cells are called as spindle shaped cells. Best example is the smooth muscle cells. Smooth muscle cells is the best example for the spindle shape. And next one is the collar neck shape. See, generally shirt is there, shirt having collar is there, the collar having one particular shape. So here the cells at the top position, one collar shape is there. That's the reason why these cells are called as collar neck cells. Example, these cells are mostly seen in canals of sponges. The collar neck cells, these cells are seen in canals of sponges. These are also called conocytes. Collar neck cells also called conocytes. Right? That is about collar neck cells. And some of the cells are rectangular. The shape of the cell is rectangular. Mostly these are seen in the best example is skeletal muscle. Cells. Mostly the rectangular shaped cells. Best example is the skeletal muscle cells. And all we know biconcave shape. Whatever that RBC cells are there. Best example within that human being. There is in biconcave. Two sides there is in concave structure is present. Two sides there is in concave structure is present. So these cells are called as bi means two. Concave structure is present. And here I did not mention here red color because here nucleus is absent. RBC cells are enucleated cells. Especially whatever that mammals contains that RBC cells are enucleated cells. Right? Why? In RBC nucleus is absent. That is one kind of adaptation process. If inside the RBC nucleus is present, there is a very minimum amount of hemoglobin accumulated inside the RBC. If hemoglobin content is less, oxygen transport also less. For the evolution and adaptation, for more oxygen transportation, whatever that mature RBC cells are there, that mature RBC cells are not having nucleus inside the RBC. Because nucleus is absent, more amount of hemoglobin is accumulated. More amount of hemoglobin is accumulated, more amount of oxygen transport takes place. More amount of oxygen transport takes place, more amount of ATP synthesis takes place inside the organism. And some of the cells also there, best. See, amoeboid shape. One of the cell shape is the amoeboid. Amoeboid means we know about amoeba. The best example is the amoeba, right? The cell not having a particular shape or the cell not having a definite shape. The cell shape is indefinite, so irregular. So that kind of cells are called as amoeboid shaped cells. Here amoeboid shaped cells, the best example is the white blood cells. White blood cells is the best example for amoeboid shaped cells. And some of the cells are elongated cells. For suppose this is one of the elongated cell. See, this is one of the elongated cell. And these elongated cells, especially seen in plants, the best example is xylem tracheids. See that elongated cells, there is in pores, structures are there. And these are elongated cells which are connected, one elongated or one xylem tracheid connected with another xylem tracheid, supporting for the transportation of water. See, these xylem tracheids are supporting for the transportation of water to long distance. Some plants are having very high height. how the water is transported. See, either xylem tracheids or either xylem vessels are supporting for the transportation of water. And some of the cells are having branches. One of the best example, some of the neurons are there. The neurons are having the branches. The neurons are having the branches. So, some cells are having branches. Right? These are the some of the example. These are the some of the examples, different shapes of the cells. Coming to the next topic is sizes of cells. See, the cell sizes are altered. Either maybe human being's body or any species or different species. Within our body, the liver cell size is different from kidney cell. Heart cells are different from skeletal muscle cell. And smooth muscle cells are, the sizes are altered. So every organism having cells, the sizes are altered. Maybe within the species or different species, the sizes of the cells are altered. So the very first one is here, PPLO, plural pneumonia-like organisms. See, this is one kind of bacteria. The size of the bacteria is 0.1 micrometer. The smallest living organism on the earth is PPLO. The size is 0.1 micrometer. Right? Coming to the next one, viruses. Viruses are most dangerous. We know about the viruses. Viruses causes the diseases to plants, to animals, to human beings, to lower organisms also, which are also attack on bacteria, which are also attack on bacteria and destroys the bacteria. So viruses, the size is 0.022 to 0.2 micrometer size. I have one doubt here. For suppose I said the smallest living organism on the earth 0.1 micrometer, and the virus, the size is 0.02 micrometers. In between these two, which one is the smallest number? See, 0.02 is the smallest number. But I said smallest living organism on the earth is the PPLO. Why? Why PPLO is the smallest living organism on the earth? Why not viruses? Why not viruses? Because viruses are not considered as living organisms. Viruses are not considered as living organisms. Outside the host cell, the viruses are considered as dead. Outside the host cell, the viruses are considered as dead. These are also called inert. Outside the host cell, these are inert, not showing any metabolism. Once these are entered into inside the host cell, these are active and starts the replication. That's the reason why even any biological classification, viruses are not included. So what my point is here, viruses are having small size, but these are not considered as living organisms. PPLO is the smallest living organism on the earth. Right? That is about the virus. And coming to the next one is mycoplasma. Here mycoplasma, that is also one type of bacteria. The size is 0.3 micrometers. Mycoplasma is the bacteria. The size is 0.3 micrometers. This is very different bacteria. All bacteria are having cell wall, but mycoplasma not having cell wall. Mycoplasma bacteria are not having cell wall, right? And general normal bacteria or eubacteria, okay, according to the NCRT, the size is 1 to 2 micrometers. According to the NCRT, 1 to 2 micrometers. But the exact measurement is here, 3 to 5 micrometers. But we have to follow the NCRT for the NEET examination. Then in examination, we have to answer the size of the bacteria is 1 to 2 micrometers. So 3 to 5 micrometers is the exact size of the bacteria. In eukaryotic cell, the size of the eukaryotic cell is 10 to 20 micrometers. The eukaryotic cell, the size is 10 to 20 micrometers. And human cell, the size is 7 to 12 micrometers. Human cell, the size is 7 to 12 micrometers. Right? Nerve cell, the size is altered. See, this is the longest cell on the earth. That is 4 microns to 100 microns. 4 microns to 100 microns. And ostrich egg. This is the largest cell on the earth. Longest is different from largest. Longest one is the nerve cell. Largest one is the ostrich egg. Ostrich egg having size is 25 centimeters. So here these are the different cells and sizes. largest cell in animals or largest cell in the entire world upon the earth ostrich egg. The size is 25 centimeters. Largest, see this is largest, and largest cell in plants. Within plant cells, different types of plants are there. Within plant cells, the largest cell is the cycas ovule. Within plant cells, the largest cell is cycas ovule. Okay. Within animals, ostrich egg. Entire world, ostrich egg. And largest cell, sorry, this is largest. Last one is longest cell. Longest cell is the nerve cell. Longest cell is the nerve cell. We know why this is longest. When we are born, okay, that time how many number of neurons we have up to death, the same neurons are there. But the nerve cells are elongated. The nerve cells are elongated. So the longest cell is the nerve cell. The largest cell on the earth, ostrich egg. Within plant cells, the largest one is cycas ovule. That is about different sizes of the cells.